Okay, welcome. In this video we are going to be talking about apples. Actually, apple juice. Because you know the old saying that there's only so much juice in an apple. And that's true when it comes to annuities. And it's true when it comes to anything in life. But this is a master's level video. We're going to get into some very technical advanced stuff. So if you're new to annuities and you're trying to learn, I suggest that you watch some other videos and I'll highlight them as we go through. But the first one you need to watch is types of annuities, pros and cons. And you can just click on the little pop-up and go to that and come back to this one. Types of annuities, pros and cons, and it goes through the basics. If this were a funnel, if we were to create a funnel here and press this apple through, it would produce only so much juice. And in an index annuity, the ways you can spend that juice are a fixed rate. In other words, when you put your money in, what the insurance company is going to pay you as a fixed interest rate on your money. Then there's the cap rate, which is when you buy into the S&P 500, you buy an option on the S&P 500, you're given a cap on your upside. So there's a variable of how much that cap can be. Then there's a bonus, and there could be a bonus on the premium, meaning how much you invest, and there can be a bonus on your income, the money that you're going to accumulate for income purposes. And then speaking of income, as that income rolls up, it rolls up at a percentage rate. And so that is another variable. And then in the accumulation phase, right when you call the insurance company to say, hey, start sending my check, they have a payout factor. This is the interest rate that determines what they're going to pay you out over your lifetime. Now, we need to draw a line here. And we're going to draw it right underneath this word bonus, because everything to the left of this line we are considering the accumulation phase, and everything to the right of the line is the income phase. Now this is important because the insurance company, when they price this apple and figure out what variables they're going to adjust here, they have to pay for it in the particular phase. So for example, a fixed rate. If the standard, if what basically everybody is paying the investor is 1.5%, and you find an insurance company that's going to pay you 2, that 0.5%, that 50 basis points, has to be paid for somewhere to the left of this line. It can't be paid for on the right because that's a bet the insurance company does not want to make, meaning they don't know if an investor is using their index annuity to accumulate money and then they're going to take the money and do something else. Not everybody accumulates for a period of time and then takes income. So an actuary is not willing to take that bet. He wants to pay for any advantages that they're giving to an investor. They need to pay for it in the accumulation phase, or if there's a benefit over in the income phase, they want to pay for it there. Okay, now fixed rate. Before we dive into this, there's another video. If this is new, if this is Greek to you, then you need to go to how annuity rates are affected, by the Federal Reserve. That's the full name. So how annuity rates are affected. Understand how the bond pricing works before you watch and we dive into this. So assuming you have a good foundation of this, and let me just give you a date here for context. So it's September 2013, and the 10-year Treasury, it's been bouncing in the mid 2.8s. So I'm just going to put 2.85. So if the average insurance company is paying 1.5, and an insurance company steps up and says, "Oh, we're going to pay you 2." That pricing model, they're just not, doing the old "I Dream of Jeannie" show, crossing their arms and blinking, and all of a sudden they're more brilliant than anybody else, and they have a better bond portfolio. They're making a bet. They're trying to use this as an incentive, but it has to be paid for somewhere. And so they could be paid for in the cap rate. So if the standard, if everybody's paying 5% for the S&P 500 cap, and an insurance company is paying you too, you may see their cap at 4.5%. Now, cap rate, if this is Greek to you and you don't have a secure understanding of that, go watch this video, S&P Index Strategies, and we walk you through all the basics of how an insurance company works on your behalf to design an indexing strategy for you, so you can make money as the markets go up, but when the markets go down, you do not go down with them. It's a brilliant construct of how an index annuity works. So this can work conversely, right? If the standard cap rate is 5% and you find an insurance company that's paying you a 6% cap, guess what? It's going to be paid for somewhere. So if they're paying you 6 here, you need to look at the fixed rate. If everybody else is paying 1.5, they may be paying 1.15. Okay? So is this good or bad? Well, it's neither. It just depends on what your particular goal is when it comes to investing. And that's why insurance companies have different pricings, is they are tailoring their particular investment opportunity toward people to have specific goals. You know, let's just use this analogy, right? If you're going to go buy a car and the most important thing to you is good gas mileage, miles per gallon, are you going to go out and buy an 8-cylinder beast of a car? No, you're not going to do that. You know, to get the best gas mileage, you're probably going to have to get something cylinders in the 4 to 6 range and has other attributes that benefit a miles per gallon. But if that's not what's important to you, if what's important to you is going from 0 to 60 in the blink of an eye, guess what? You are going to pay for it at the pump. You can't get both. You can't go get a beast of a car that gives you phenomenal miles per gallon. It just doesn't work that way. And it's the same with an index annuity, or it's the same with any investment. Okay? So let's move on to premium. Some index annuities give you a premium bonus. So let's say they give you a 5% bonus. So if you put $100,000 in, day one you have $105,000. That sounds like a good deal. It sounds like free money. Well, if the standard CDSC, what does CDSC stand for? Contingent Deferred Sales Charge. When can I get my money out without any kind of penalty? If the standard on a 7-year is 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, and then you're done. If that's the standard and there's a bonus here, I can almost assure you that your CDSC is going to look something like this. 9, 9, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. And they may even say, if you leave within the first year, not only do you have a charge, but we're gonna take back the 5%. You're only going to get your 1%. So you think, well, wait a minute, that's not fair. It doesn't have to do anything about fair. The insurance company is pricing. Hey, if we give you this 5%, they're not the United States government. They don't have a printing press. They just can't print money randomly and it all works out. If they're going to give you 5% up front to give you a jump start, they want to make sure you're in it for the long haul. They want to make sure you're going to be there the whole time, so they have the ability to recoup that back. Okay? Let's move over to the income phase. The same thing happens on the bonus on the income side. So we talked about the bonus on premium. You can also get a bonus on income, meaning they could give you 5% bonus on your income. But if you put $100,000 in, guess what? On the premium, your balance showed 105, but on the income side, it still showed 100. If you get an income bonus here, then it would show 105. But guess what? If, let's say you go out 7 years, right? You started in the accumulation phase, you didn't have this. Let's say they did not have that. You had the 5% bonus for income purposes. You put your $100,000 in, you stayed there this entire period of time. and then you took your money and you exited, you left, you rolled it out somewhere, you bought a condo in Florida, you bought your boat that you always want to do, whatever it is, this 5% bonus is not relevant because it's on the income side of the equation. That 105 doesn't go in. You just get whatever your account value is, and hopefully the account value, this 100 grew to something, you know, decent over time, because that's what an index annuity is designed to do, is give you upside potential when the market does well, but when the market goes down, you don't go down with it. So it's a safe money alternative. If you don't exercise the income side, you're not going to get the income bonus. Okay? Now, before we jump into the income roll-up and payout factors, again, if this is new to you, go watch Truth About Annuity Income Riders. So Truth About Annuity Income Riders. And this is going to be an in-depth explanation of how these income riders work. Okay, so go watch that. On the income roll-up, if the standard, what everybody's paying, is 7%, for instance, and somebody steps up and says, hey, we're paying 8, we have to ask ourselves, why? Why are they doing that? Another factor in here is how the 7 or 8 is calculated. Is it simple interest, or is it compound interest? Simple interest, you could have somebody that says, we're paying you 7% simple, and another company says, well, we're paying 6.5% compounded, and this insurance company says this is a better deal, and you go, well, wait a minute, how is 6.5 better than 7? Well, it has to do with time. If you are looking to take income earlier, you would be better off with 7% simple, because we know, as Einstein tells us, the greatest phenomenon in investing is compounded interest. We know that over time, let's say 5 years plus, that 6.5% compounding on itself versus 7% simple, the longer it goes, the 6.5% will actually surpass that and be a better deal. It gets back to the question we asked over here. Is this good or bad? It's not about good or bad. It's about what's important to you. If you're looking at taking income earlier and you can find a 7% simple and other people are at 6.5% compound, you should do this. But if you're not looking to take income until later, then the compound would be a better deal for you. Let's go back up to here on this simple difference. Let's say these are both simple. Simple percent 7, simple 8. And this insurance company is paying 8, they've got to pay for it somehow on the income phase side to the right of this line. Well, it could be the payout factor. So what's a payout factor? A payout factor is simply the insurance company, when they are going to give you a promise to pay over a lifetime. If they say, off of your base, whatever, how much money you have in there, they say, you know what, we are going to be able to send you $18,412 every year for the rest of your life. They had to take this lump sum of money that you have in the investment, and they need to look at their bond portfolio. They need to look at the bond portfolio, and they need to determine how much they can pay out over time. And they have to take several things into consideration. And mainly it's the actuarial tables of how long people live, right? So if you start this and you are 72 years old when you start this, they know on average how long you're going to live. The average life expectancy at 72 for a male is 12 years, and a female is generally a little more than 2 years. So I'm going to take 13 years here. So the average life expectancy is 85. So the insurance company, they're smart, and they figure out how long they can afford to pay this $18,412 from age 72 out to age 85. Now, if you pass away before then, whatever is left over in this account, that goes to your heirs. If you live beyond that, if you live beyond 85, then the insurance company's on the hook to continue paying this $18,412, right? They've got to take and determine a payout factor. They take the original amount in their bond portfolio, and let's say the payout factor for age 72, they can determine that this is going to be 6%. So the payout factor, everybody looks at this and they say it's 6%. If the standard income roll-up is 7 and the standard payout is 6 and somebody's paying 8, guess what? This payout factor is going to be lower. It's got to be paid for somehow, some way, so that's the way they're going to do it. Again, just like we saw over here, this can work conversely. You could, because an index annuity is an illustration is often used to project this amount of money right here, right? You will see an insurance company that will design their investment to have the highest payout in dollar amount, and the way to get the highest payout dollar amount is to have the highest payout factor. So instead of, if everybody's at 6, they may be at 6.5. Well, if they're at 6.5, if they're at 6.5 and everybody else is at 6, guess what? They're not going to be paying out this high of an amount here. That's not going to happen. It's going to be lower than the 7%. It could be here at 6.5. I'm sure you're sitting back and you're looking at this and go, well, how the heck do I make a decision on what to do? There's too many variables. There's too many ways for this to be changing around, and that's okay. The best thing about the index annuity, and the reason I wanted to do this video, is this to show you that you can actually design the index annuity exactly to what your goals and objectives are. You do that, look, if you want our help, that's why we do that, then reach out to us and we will help you. There's so many great index annuities on the marketplace, and insurance companies do this on purpose. This is not the Ford Model T in black. Ford said, you can have any car you want as long as it's the Model T in black. That's not the way it is with index annuities. That's not the way it is in anything in life. So I wanted to show you this stuff because the main thing I wanted you to benefit from this video is not to have some slick salesman point something out to you and think that it was a free lunch. So if somebody has a really high cap rate and that's all they're telling you and they're not saying how this is paid for, consumer beware, right? So this is a consumer beware video. Hopefully it's been helpful to you. If you need help, reach out to us and we will tailor the index annuity. We'll point you to the one that works exactly to the objectives, the investment objectives that you are trying to accomplish. Okay? Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful.